You talked about the project. Indeed, it's a company, of course. There's the economic motor, but there are other things around. There's a periphery around of a museum, as you probably know, of the architecture that you mentioned, of workshops, of collections. We have a big collection of furniture of the modern, of architectural archives, like the Barragan archives, of design archives, like the Nelson archives. We have workshops, we make publications and other activities in that character. And in that sense, it's something in the tradition of the modern movement, of course. And you know that there are these insane idea that you can change the world with chairs, tables, and sofas and lamps. I mean, to everybody outside, it seems really ridiculous, but we believe it. And so we work in this way, silly or not, but that's the way we are. And of course, you could say, well, it's maybe fun to have a museum, and it is fun, and do architecture collections, but of course, what's the business reason, and how can one afford it, and how can one justify that? And that has always been a bit of a problem for me. I mean, how can you justify it? And then you come up with good ideas that justify it, but is it justified? Anyhow, the company has been going for 50 years, and it's still there, and it doesn't make red numbers, so maybe it works somehow. Because there is payback from that, and it's not so easy to say what the payback is. And if you expect the payback, you of course never get it. You only get it when you don't expect it. But after a while, you realize there is. And as you know, some of you are from this industry. We are in a very slow and old industry, and the progress or innovation is very little. I mean, you still can sit very nicely on a toner chair from 1850, and you won't suffer, you won't get a backache, and it's very nice in a cafe, it's beautiful, it works. So where is the progress? I mean, it's not that we are anyway really innovative in the sense like a technical world is. With very little, a chair is still a chair. It's a vertical, a horizontal, and a vertical. I mean, it's still the same, like the Egyptians did it. I mean, so what is the innovation? I think basically it's a cultural innovation more than a technical. There are technical innovations. Office chairs are definitely better now than they were 20 years ago because it's half machine, half chair. Office furniture is more in tune with new ways of organization. There is, in that sense, progress, but generally it's a cultural change. And how does an object like a chair or piece of furniture represent the time, and what does it mean? And is it just a fashion, or does it meet a deep current of a time? And of course, if it meets a deep current of a time, it will stay for a long time. I mean, some of our products, we have products from the 20s actually, Prove chairs. So that stayed a long time. And if you touch a sort of a little wave, maybe it stays only a few years. And in that sense, I think dealing with the museum, with collection, thinking about exhibitions, having the overview of what happened in the past, I think helps you to be a better contemporary. I think it helps you to distinguish between what are maybe more important movements or less important movements. I think it also allows you to develop a narrative, because now just to do a new chair or a new table, really that can be very, very boring. So you need a narrative, you need a reason why, you need a concept, you have to build into an idea, new idea for an office, or to a lesser extent for a home. And I think to deal with these so-called cultural things, it helps you to think in a different way, to develop that kind of narrative. And as you know, I mean, the more you know about something, the more interesting it is. Everything is interesting if you go deeply, everything. I mean, if you do nails, it can be terribly interesting if you go into the history of fastening things. And But if you just think of a chair, it can be very boring. So the deeper you go, I think also the better you get. And I think if there is a strength in Vitra, it is this deep involvement what we do. And we include, of course, the architects and the designers in that research. And in a way, the clients in the end sense it, and one gets a credibility. So that's one of the rewards.